Oh, sorry.
Okay, my name is John, and I'm retired after 36 years of working all across the country.
Okay. Thank you, John, for taking the time to do this interview with us. And you have the questions in front of you. Please give us your best answers.
Best answer.
Best thought out answers you can.
Mind versus brain argument. Is that the question? Oh gosh, I haven't even thought about this for 37 years. But brain argument, I'm not quite sure what that is.
Well, I mean, just to quickly give you some background, brain as a physical organ, the mind as an extension to consciousness and beyond the physical realm.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, certainly you need that brain to be working, but it's a mind that just makes us what we are.
Right.
And it makes everybody what they are.
Right.
I know it's one of the other questions, maybe it's later on, but what affects that? You know, it's probably environment, you know, education,
right.
You know, the experiences that you've had growing up, or if any life-altering situations. So
Agreed.
that's going to also, if your brain, you're in an accident, you have an injury to your brain, that's the function of the brain. It's probably not going to work the way it should.
Right.
And that may affect your mind and what you're thinking and how you're thinking.
Right. And I guess that kind of ties into the second point as well with consciousness. We kind of use consciousness and mind interchangeably.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on consciousness, the source of consciousness? Where does it end? Where does it begin?
Consciousness to me is something I'm always thinking about,
right.
Or I feel it. You know, sometimes if I feel, for example, guilty about doing something,
okay.
I might not be thinking that what I'm doing is wrong, but something doesn't feel right.
Right.
You know, that's one example that I can think of.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What do you want more?
As much as you want to give. I mean, basically, whatever the questions spark inside of you, just feel free to answer. As little as or as much as you can give.
Okay. Thoughts on Canada's educational system. Well, I've had the opportunity when I was younger to go to school in a few provinces, and I found it quite different from one province to another. So
okay.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
Right.
Only in the early days. Another example is I was born in Ontario, moved to Nova Scotia when I was 5. At that time, now this is the middle of the last century, I hadn't learned to read and write.
Okay.
I couldn't go into grade 1 in Nova Scotia because at that time, you're 5, you went to school for the whole day in Nova Scotia and had to learn to read and write. So thanks to the Ontario school system, I failed primary.
Right, understood.
Yeah.
So it's a disconnection between the formats of the different provinces that created the problem, right?
Right, and just watching my own kids through the years, it looks like there's a lot of things that weren't being taught anymore that I thought were important, and maybe you know, but history.
Right. Okay.
I'm a great believer in history, and we have to know where we were, and know where we're going.
Why do you think that's so important? I mean, aside from what you just said,
yeah,
of course.
We can learn from what's gone on before.
Right.
It's also experience.
Right.
You know, history is experience. You have your own history, but you can also use the experience of others.
Do you mean Canadian history in general, or Canadian history, or just global history in general?
Canadian history first.
Right.
From each province, it was pretty localized. Canadian history was more about the area that I lived in rather than all of Canada.
Right.
So I thought it was pretty poor.
Okay.
When I was young, it was mostly British history and the monarchy.
Same here.
I don't care.
Not very relevant, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess, yeah, based on those thoughts and those reflections, what would you change if you had some power to sort of change the education system for your children or for your grandchildren and people to come in the future?
I don't know. That would take a lot of thought.
Right.
When the kids were going through the school system, it just seemed like everybody was warehoused and treated like I shouldn't say that, but I didn't find that there seemed to be a lot of room for individuality.
Okay, right.
And I think a little bit of rebellion's not bad either.
Right. I mean, people have their own ways of learning, right? And it's just maybe their way of getting out their energy.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Anything else that you would like to say?
No, that's it.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it.
Good luck. I know you're going to get an A.